Hi everyone, I'm Stephen Lim, VP for Safety Education, Singapore Cycling Federation. Right. Now, cycling is an in thing now. Many newbies started picking up cycling, right? Or some of them have been cycling for quite a long while. Now, there are some important things that we need to know before we start riding. Right? First of all, especially if you're borrowing somebody's bike or renting a bike, right? So what we need to do is make sure you check that the bike is in good, proper working condition. Now the few key things to check is number one, that the tires is properly inflated and the track is good, right? Number two, make sure that you check the brakes, right? How do you check? Push the bike forward and backward and squeeze the brake, like this, right? That the brake, make sure that the brake is working. Now, another important thing to check on the brake, okay? Generally, bikes are fitted with the right hand lever to the rear brake calipers, where the left hand lever to the front. Now, just in case, like you get a bike that is fitted the other way, so the important thing to check is make sure you know which lever is for which brake. In this case, the right hand lever is for the rear, right? And the left hand lever is for the front. Now, why is it so important? Because if you happen to squeeze the wrong brake, for example, right, in an emergency down the slope at a high speed, you squeeze the front brake first. This is going to happen, and then it's going to send you flying off the handlebar. So always check that you know which is which, right? And always squeeze the rear brake first, followed by the front, right? Now, the next thing you need to know is your riding posture. Make sure, firstly, get a bike that is fitted to your size, right? Not too big, not too small, right? Next thing, for handlebar, for easy riding, handlebar should not be too wide, nor should it be too narrow, right? It should be roughly the width of your shoulder, okay? And you will get an easy, comfortable ride. Another thing to look out for is the seat height. If it's too low, right, you'll be sitting where your leg is too bent, okay? But if it's too high, you'll realize that you'll be overstretching, right? So make sure that you adjust the saddle to height. So, okay. Make sure you adjust it before you start riding. Right? And to demonstrate how it should be, okay. So when the pedal is down on the floor, perpendicular to the floor, your knee should be slightly bent, roughly 20 degrees, right? So it cannot be too bent, neither can it be too straight, right? And this will make sure that you have a good, comfortable ride. And before we move off, make sure you don all the protective gear. Number one, helmet. Helmet is important because it will protect your head in the case of you fall off for whatever reason, right? In an accident, you can break an arm, break a leg, but honestly, head injury is the worst injury to treat, right? So always protect your head. You damage your helmet, you can change. There's no way you can change your skull. So always don the helmet and make sure you strap it properly, nicely stuck under your chin. Not too tight, not too loose. For example, this is too tight. So I'm going to loosen it a bit where I can still stuck one finger in it. Right? And check that the helmet is nicely stuck on your head. Next thing, bright color clothing. This is important because you are visible to other road user or the park user. Right? And another important thing is actually covered shoes. Right? So again, in the case of the fall, your shoes will protect your foot. So Once you are ready, you have all these things checked, your bike checked, your attire checked, you are ready to move on. And before we go, make sure you check for traffic. You will only move on when the traffic is clear.